You already know the deal, I'm making a roguelike game in 7 days and making a devlog video every day as well.
I did not think this through.
In the last video, we got the random dungeon generation working, which was super cool because I had significant doubts in my ability to do so. Now, we have to fill in these rooms with enemies and make the progression feel fun and fair. Firstly, I had to block off the player whenever they entered a new room, so they'd be forced to fight the enemies. Doing this was super simple. I just checked if the player was inside a room with a collider, and if they were, they are trapped forever and cannot escape. Literally, because to get out you need to defeat enemies, and there is currently a distinct lack of enemies. Going back into the code, I used some trigonometry to spawn the enemies around randomly in a circle. Actually it's a square, but I just wanted to say trigonometry. Putting this back into Unity, there was once again a distinct lack of enemies, meaning I could never leave the room. The second attempt was a little better, except it didn't stop spawning.
Too many hacking triangles.
Third try is the charm. I put a cap on how many enemies that it could spawn, and when you killed them, it'll open up the barriers and you can move through to the next room. There is still a big problem with this though. Let's see if you can guess it. Is it A, you haven't subscribed yet, 2, you haven't liked the video, or C, there is not enough variation in the enemies?
That's right, it's all of them.
I made this first enemy all the way back in the first episode, and it's time to spice it up with a whole bunch of differently shaped boys. To start off with, I made this little circle boy. This guy only has 1 health but moves super quickly, so it isn't that much of a threat but can be pretty annoying if you don't kill it straight away. Next up was the square, 4 health points, and it is very, very dangerous. It stares deeply into your soul. Oh yeah, and it also shoots bullets in 4 directions and is a completely stationary enemy. Finally, we have a pink hexagon that just spins around in a circle. This enemy won't spawn too often, but I think it's a cool feature just to spice things up a bit. 5 health points, same as the basic triangle boy. Because the player is blue, which is generally known as a colder colour, I made all of these enemies warmer colours: pink, red, orange and yellow. It just shows the separation in the purpose of each character, and it also looks pretty swag. There is a small problem with how they're spawning, and that is that they're just kind of appearing out of nowhere. They could spawn right on top of the player, and that is just a bit of a silly goose move. So to combat this, I simply made this fade-in effect that appears before the enemy, and so you can get a notice of when the enemy is about to spawn and you can get out of the way. It's not a whole lot, but I think it was a nice touch to polish off these new characters. Now, I had a lot going on today. My whole life, believe it or not, does not revolve around YouTube. I have friends and hobbies and
I wish.
And as you know, I have to work on the game and make a devlog video every single day, which is not easy. So this is all of the progress that I have for today. I'm really happy with the new enemies, and I think it adds a lot of character and variety to the project. I was hoping to make a boss fight, but it looks like I'm running out of time for this series, so tomorrow's video will all be about menu screens, UI and finalising the game loop. Thank you so much for watching this devlog, and a very special thank you to my supporters over on Patreon, especially DerpyDino35, DiamondDev and Gunst. Thank you, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.